No. No. No barking. And we're 2 minutes away from the broadcast. Thank you for joining us here on Discoveries in Health. And welcome to Discoveries in Health. We're just getting started. We're giving people a chance to come into the room on Uber Conference and on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. This is Bishop Dr. Truman Berst. My telephone number is 503-362-5899. My email address is the same as the website, herbalhealthreview.com. My email address is truman@herbalhealthreview.com. Thank you for joining us here for another edition of Discoveries in Health. We don't prescribe, we don't diagnose, we talk about natural remedies on the fly. That's right. We take your suggestions of topics, things that you want to talk about, and we talk about them spontaneously, doing original research on the spot, right here on Discoveries in Health. Every Thursday for 2 hours, we're here talking about natural remedies. And again, we don't prescribe, we don't diagnose, we're talking about natural remedies and the latest research, traditionally and historically and scientifically. Thank you for joining us here on Discoveries in Health every Thursday for 2 hours. We take your suggestions, your topics. You can join us by getting on Facebook or on YouTube or over on Uber Conference and on Zoom. We are live. And the room is filling up here over there on Uber Conference. And if you'd like to join us over the telephone, you can do that. The telephone number while you're on YouTube, while you're on Facebook, that telephone number to join us live over the phone is 503 606 6064. That's 503 606 6064 to join us over the telephone, as well as being on Facebook and YouTube and Zoom. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Let's get started here. I'm looking for Prophet Elijah. He hasn't come into the room. When he does, we're going to get an opening prayer and we'll get started. Then after the opening prayer, we'll open up the microphones on Uber Conference over the telephone. Again, you can join us over the telephone. Even though you're on Facebook and on YouTube, you can also join us over on the telephone at 503 606 6064. And I'm still looking to see if Prophet Elijah has come into the room, but he hasn't come into the room yet, and that's okay. My telephone number is 503 362 5899. And my email address is Truman, TRUMAN, at herbalhealthreview.com. Truman at herbalhealthreview.com. The same as the website, where there's all hundreds of videos, hundreds of reports, an herbal class. It's all part of the membership when you become a member of Discoveries in Health. And I'm still looking for Prophet Elijah to come into the room. And he's going to be there soon. I'm looking for him. I don't see him yet, but any minute, and then we'll get started. And again, we will open up the microphones over there on Uber Conference, and you then can join us on Uber Conference. And again, the number is 503 606 6064. Let's get over to Prophet Elijah. And Prophet Elijah's telephone number is 334 868 3881. That's 334 868 3881 for Prophet Elijah. And let's go over and say hello. My dear brother, Prophet Elijah, how are you today, sir?
I'm contagiously blessed, and I think you are so.
Yes, we are. We're both contagiously, limitlessly, continuously, and endlessly blessed. All praises to the Most High. Prophet Elijah, Prophet Elijah, my dear brother, what would you like to give us an opening prayer? Then share what's on your mind today, what your thoughts are, okay?
Yes, sir, I would do that. 1 John 5:4. For whatever is born of the Most High God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Spiritual victory is a privilege to be enjoyed by every believer. Most High God, I ask, why do we seem to encounter so many obstacles in our daily life? In your word, we are promised that victory belongs to believers. Show us how to stand strong in victory that is already ours in Christ. The enemy of our soul has attempted to gain the upper hand and make us think we are defenseless against his attack. At this moment, Dr. Berst and I, Prophet Elijah, stand against the enemy's attack on Discoveries in Health, Good Shepherd Ministries, Better Health Herbs. We pray for the entire state of Texas in every state. When Satan is bringing gloom and doom, especially in our spiritual life, family relationships, strongholds, financial crisis, and sinful compulsions. We know that prayers of victory that covers these and other vital areas of life will help retake the ground Satan has wrongly usurped in our life. It takes spiritual warfare prayer to minister. Prayer is the highest intelligence, the profoundest wisdom, the most vital, the most joyous, the most efficacious, the most powerful of all vocations is prayer. It is life, radiant, transporting eternal life. Let us get at the serious work that has been done. Let us be about our Father's business. Let us become doers of the word, not hearers only. The harvest is ready. However, the labors are few. Let us become so devoted to prayer, so filled with this rich spices that all heaven and earth will be perfumed by its aroma. And nations yet in the womb will be released by the sound of our voice when we pray. Most High God, Dr. Berst and I have poured out our soul before you. In your promise, it is said to call upon you and you will answer us. And when we seek you, we will find you. When we search for you with all our heart, let all the present day praying be measured by these standards. By prayer, the Most High God's will is done and faith is defeated. Prayer is victory. VICTORY. So be it.
So be it. All praises to the Most High.
Yes, indeed.
Prophet Elijah, what are your thoughts today?
I mean, you always read in my mind. You just read in my mind. That's why we get along so well together, because my thoughts, it says your thoughts and understanding them. See, we all have thoughts, but do we understand our thoughts? And it says in scripture, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. That's in Proverbs 4:7. Thoughts are powerful. They are things, they are preeminent. The very thoughts running through your mind at this moment, right now on this program, can help to manifest the life of your dreams of better health or draw you closer to your greatest fears. But most people don't realize the inherent power of their thoughts. We go about our lives steeped in one mindset or another, without the clear realization that whatever it is we think about or focus on consistently, we move towards. Whether or not you believe that statement is rather subjective, the truth of the matter is that we are the product of our every thought. As a man thinks, so is he. What you fear the most will come upon you. It's part of the manifestation of our destiny. But not everyone holds to that credo. Not everyone believes in the fervent power of their thoughts. They brush it off while dwelling on past or fearing the future, not quite understanding that the very things that they are thinking about come up on them. Thoughts are pure energy. They move across the synapses in our brain, jumping from one neuron to another, moving from one cluster to the next at lightning fast speed. The mind is the most powerful computer in the world at the moment. However, another problem that arises is that human mind is a computer that's been preconditioned by the precepts of man. It has some software that's installed at birth in the form of our DNA, but after that, every new experience is another memory lodged that might create a variety of functions. As we grow older, those functions turn into habits. But at the very basal level, everything is created by our thoughts and how we perceive these things. So your mental thoughts can bring life or death. Disease can be reversed by simply reversing our mental thought pattern. A number of years ago, a woman was diagnosed with cancer of the vagina. She was raped at 5 years old and a battered child. It was no longer that she had manifest cancer in her vaginal area. Yes, I said manifest. Her thoughts caused her to receive cancer like anyone who has just been told that they have cancer, she went into a total panic, thinking negative thoughts. Let's talk about cancer. It comes from a pattern of deep, deep thought, resentment that is held for a long time until it literally eats away at the body. Yes, it literally eats your flesh. Realize that even if you have had an operation to get rid of the cancer and did not clear the mental thought pattern that created it, then the doctors would just keep cutting until there is no more of you to cut. Let's say you had the operation and cleared the negative mental thoughts pattern that was causing the cancer, then the cancer would not return. Whatever words you speak or send out come back to you in a mighty harvest. The scripture says that they will not return void. When cancer or any other illness returns, do not believe that it is because the doctor didn't get it all out, but rather you made no mental change in your conscious and subconscious thoughts. And therefore, you just recreated the same illness repeatedly. Let's be clear about the negative mental thought pattern that created a condition called cancer. Once changed, you would need the doctor. It's time to release your old patterns and resentment of unforgiveness. Stop drinking from the old well of past tradition. Refuse to drink the stagnant, sin-infested, crooked waters of the world and dig new wells into the pure waters of the Most High God. Good nutrition and healthy organic lifestyle, like Dr. Berst is talking about, and we'll be talking about today, completely detoxifying the body with herbal remedies is very helpful at the beginning of a new life. The point of power is in the present moment, right here, right now, in your mind. It does not matter how long we have had negative thought patterns and illness, a lack of finances, or self-hatred. We can begin to make a change when today, right now, on this program. Thank the thoughts we have held and the words we have repeatedly used have created our life and experience up to this point. Now, what we are choosing to think and say today at this very moment during this time of this program will create our tomorrows, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year, and so on. The point of power is always in the present moment. This is where we begin to make changes. What a liberating idea. We can begin to let all the old nonsense go right now. The smallest beginning will make a difference, one step at a time, like a baby crawling, learning to walk and running. Both the good in our lives and the diseases are results of mental thought patterns that form our experiences. It is negative thought pattern that produces uncomfortable, unrewarding experiences. It should be our desire to change our disease into perfect health. Remember, you unknowingly created disease. Now stop blaming life and other people for what is or was wrong with your life and body. Begin now to take full responsibility of your own health. Now back to you, Dr. Berst.
Thank you very much for that information, because these are the thoughts that improve your life. They keep you healthy. They keep a relationship with the Most High God. These are the things that are necessary, especially in the times that we're in these days. So, Prophet Elijah, maybe we need to go to the telephones now and find out if anyone has any comments, suggestions, or topics that they would like us to discuss today. Did you?
And then on that, they begin to think about when people talk about the earth, it helps that thoughts to change so they can line up with the earth, so the earth can begin to work in the body, because now they know it's flowing with a body that's thinking in harmony with it.
Yes. Yes. So let's go to the telephone lines now and open up the microphones. Anyone who has a question, a topic, or a suggestion, all you need to do is press your star key 2 times on your telephone. It will open your microphone. I'll see your microphone is open, and I'll ask you what your topic is, and whatever it is, we're going to talk about it right here on Discoveries in Health. I see an open microphone over there in North Carolina. Did you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion?
Yeah, I got a. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Okay. If you don't have a topic or a suggestion, we'll mute the microphone. And I'm looking over at another microphone in North Carolina, and that microphone is open. Over there in Wilson. What is your topic, suggestion, or question?
Yes, Dr. Truman. I want to know if a person has low testosterone, what is a good thing to take?
If there's well, then let's take a look at that. Okay, for low testosterone, let's talk about low testosterone here. And I'm going to mute the microphone again, and I'm going to go ahead over there to the other person over there in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. Did you have a topic or a suggestion?
Yeah, Doc, I got a good friend of mine that's battling sickle cell.
Sickle.
And I was just curious what can be done from an herbal stance.
Okay, we're going to talk about sickle cell. We're going to talk about testosterone. So let's get going on it, and we'll do that right now. And then, folks, if you think of something along the way, and if you happen to be over there on Facebook or on YouTube, well, then you can always call and ask your question. And again, we don't prescribe, we're not diagnosing. We're talking about topics of natural remedies to describe them and what the latest what the latest information is in the scientific community regarding those issues. So let's go over to testosterone, and let's take a look at that. And I'm going right here to testosterone. Talk about it, and let's go over here. I'm doing some research information on the fly. That's what we do here. How to increase the libido, how to increase testosterone. Well, you know, lack of libido is more common in women than men, but it significantly affects both sexes. In fact, research shows that 32% of the women and 15% of men lack the desire to have sex regularly. And whether you're on the lower or on the higher end of the age spectrum, a low libido can strike at any year of your life for a whole variety of reasons, including low testosterone, depression, stress, relationship issues, sexual dysfunction, and prescription medications, and being overweight, and too little or too much exercise, sleep apnea, and drug or alcohol use. Naturally, many people wonder how to increase libido. And if you have little or no sex drive, you're definitely not alone. The great news is that there are a lot of natural remedies to increase libido, and you can start increasing your sex drive naturally today. If a higher sex drive is your goal, then it's time to make some lifestyle changes. And when we're talking about making lifestyle changes, there is a report up here on Herbal Health Review. That's the website where I published all my work. Hundreds of reports, hundreds of videos, an herbal course, a lot of information there on herbalhealthreview.com. And when we're clicking on common conditions on herbalhealthreview.com, we can go down to men's health. And when we're on men's health, we'll see some of the herbs and some of the remedies that can be used. Things like saw palmetto, which helps to build strength during periods of convalescence, and internal uses, well, a nutritive for a urinary and sexual organs. It's a tonic, saw palmetto, and it's been helpful for following conditions: inflamed and enlarged prostate, impotence, atrophy of the testes, and low libido. So that's one herb that is for men and women. And herbs like quercetin and nettle, you'll find that those herbs, quercetin, well, you'll find that there's no clear toxicity exists in quercetin or nettle. And so taking large amounts won't immediately have any obvious ill effects. However, there is some theoretical anecdotal evidence that consuming large amounts of quercetin regularly, especially with other antioxidants, particularly vitamin C, can potentially manifest some problems in people despite of the many quercetin benefits. But let's get down to a male enhancement formula. There's a male enhancement formulation. It's number 1273, and it's safe and effective blood flow stimulant. It's a stimulator, and that makes most of your natural potential. When aroused, blood flow increases into 3 chambers of the penis, and the outflow of blood is decreased, producing an erection. The more blood that is pushed into the chambers, the larger you can become. Male enhancement formula helps to force more blood flow to these chambers and stretch, creating substantial growth in both length and girth in just a few weeks. Your penis can be larger. This product is safe and reliable and can produce results in 4 to 6 months. One of the main ingredients is Tongkat Ali, which is a testosterone booster. Tongkat Ali is a rare herb found only in the lush virgin tropical rainforest of Indonesia. And it's called Eurycoma longifolia. That's Eurycoma longifolia Jack, or Pasek Bumi. You can easily raise your testosterone level to youthful level after consuming Tongkat Ali over a period of time. Tongkat Ali raises your body levels of free testosterone naturally. A large proportion of the testosterone that circulates in your body is bound by a protein called SHBG. That's sex hormone binding globulin. Testosterone that is bound to the SHBG is considered ineffective. Only free testosterone exerts the effects that are attributed to the hormone. One, androgenic. It's a masculizing and sexualizing both physiologically and mentally, and thus enhancing libido. And the other, anabolic, building tissue, mainly muscle, And how exactly Tongkat Ali increases free testosterone, however, is not known. One possible explanation is that Tongkat Ali's active ingredients capture and bind the SHBG and therefore prevent SHBG from capturing circulating free testosterone. However, whatever the reason is, there's no doubt that Tongkat Ali is sufficient, sufficient in a sufficient dosage and concentration, increases your testosterone level and increases and the increase in testosterone level, no doubts lead to a high sex drive and libido longer, harder and more spontaneous erection, improve muscle mass and strength, a boost in energy and vitality, in increasing bone mineral density, a sense of well-being, improved cognitive function. In Indonesia, where Tongkat Ali is known as Pasak Bumi, young plants are not used for medicinal purposes. Only roots of an age of at least 10 years are considered effective. And because Indonesia is the only country where it is still found in the wild, it also is the only country from where one can obtain old roots, 10-year-old roots. There are simply no plantations where Tongkat Ali has been grown for at least 10 years. Nowhere in the world. In Malaysia, the Tongkat Ali shrub has now been declared a protected plant, as overcollection in the wild has almost eradicated it from the forests of that country. The hidden potential of testosterone boosting ingredients. Testosterone boosters, there's another one. It's called Tribulus terrestris. Tribulus terrestris, Tongkat Ali, D-aspartic acid, and ashwagandha. That is a recipe of herbs. And then there's pregnenolone, about 50 milligrams. There's 90 capsules in a bottle. And pregnenolone is a natural hormone made by the body from cholesterol. Pregnenolone is the basic precursor or starting raw material for the production of all the human steroid hormones. Starts with pregnenolone. And pregnenolone is, including DHEA. It's also a progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, and aldosterone. And as such, is often referred to as the mother hormone or the next up and coming anti-aging hormone. So these are things that you'll find on the website, Herbal Health Review, under Men's Health. So there's another one, 7-keto DHEA. 7-keto DHEA is a metabolite of the adrenal hormone dihydroepiandrosterone. And DHEA, 3-acetyl-7-oxydehydroepiandrosterone, or 7-keto, is a naturally occurring byproduct of DHEA that is produced in the adrenal glands and the brain and the skin. There are about 150 DHEA metabolites, and 7-keto seems to be one of the most valuable among them. 7-keto DHEA may enhance immune function, decrease muscle loss, decrease stress, increase metabolic rate, and accelerate weight loss in healthy adults. But we talked about something also. So those are some definite particular herbs and products that are going to increase testosterone. But until you have a good diet, nothing's going to work the way it should. So that's why I created a report called Make Lifestyle Changes. So let's get back over to the common condition reports. And when we're over here, then we're going down on the left side under miscellaneous information on the left side of the screen. And we're looking at make lifestyle changes, because that's the key. You want the testosterone, you want the Tonkat Ali and the pregnenolone, things like saw palmetto. These are all great, but unless you know about the changing your diet and having a high power, high energy diet system, like the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system that starts out with telling you how much water to drink. And how much water should we drink? You should drink half your weight in ounces daily of pure spring water with minerals, starting every morning with 16 ounces of water. And you can put a slice of lemon in there. That will also help your kidneys. So that's where we're starting. We've got to have that water. We've got to have that rehydration. But then it goes into special nutrients that are going to power you up, like B12 and folic acid drops, vitamin D3, and there's the pregnenolone. That's listed right there in the report. And you can click on any of these items that are in this report. And if you clicked on B12 and folic acid drop, you said open it up in a new tab, then you can go to that tab that you're opening it up and you're looking at the B12 and folic acid. Now, so all of these reports, when they're talking about a product, you can click on that product and it'll take you over to where you can buy it. And I'm not selling anything. I don't sell anything. I haven't sold any natural products since 2010, when the government said that I can't do that. I can't sell products and help people. So I stopped selling products and I just help people. But I make sure you know where to get. There's no sense in talking about a product that you can't find, or if it's too expensive. So I give you a link, and that link here is for B12 and folic acid, and that B12 is not synthetic. You see, the B12 normally, which is called cobalamin, that's the cobalamin is the synthetic B12. The natural B12 is methylcobalamin. And you're going to see that methylcobalamin is what this B12 is made from. So you're getting the real deal. You're getting the best when you're clicking on these products. And for instance, this B12 and folic acid, it's squirt underneath the tongue 3 times a day, and it helps to rejuvenate every cell in your body. not you. So we're not just talking about testosterone now. We're talking about overall health. Will improve your overall health when you start having a B12 underneath the tongue 3 times a day. And I'm looking at the price of it, and the price of it is $23.99. $23.99 for a 2-ounce bottle that'll last you about a month, maybe a little bit over a month. And the discount code to get a discount off of the $23.99, the discount code is GOCC. G like George, O like over, C like Charles, C like Charles. GOCC. When you click on that product and put it into your shopping cart, and before you check out, it'll ask you if you have a coupon code, and the coupon code to get 20% off of any of these products on this website. And again, I get nothing from the sale of any product. We're not selling products here. We're talking about natural remedies. That's what I do. So, but you can get a 20% discount from the manufacturer. The manufacturer is Health and Herbs in Houston, Texas. And that website is betterhealthherbs.com. So just remember, your coupon code to get 20% off is GOCC, GOCC. But that's how this works. So when you're looking at a product, you can click on it and you can see it. You can put it in the shopping cart. You can get a discount on it. And that's it. And then it talks about vitamin D3. That's the second thing that's listed here. Well, the first thing was water. The second thing was B12. And the third thing is actually vitamin D3. But vitamin D3 is going to fuel you up. It's going to strengthen you. And it's going to, it's one of the most important things you can do for your health. And that's this Make Lifestyle Changes report. It's giving you one product after another that is going to increase your stamina, your endurance. And so we've got to, whatever you're doing, we always have to start at the beginning. Where's the beginning? The Make Lifestyle Changes report system. So that's it for testosterone. Testosterone. That gives you the answer on that. Let's talk about sickle cell anemia. Okay, let's go talk about sickle cell anemia and what science knows about that. Sickle cell anemia. Let's click on it. Sickle cell anemia. I'll grab a drink of water while the report's coming up. Well, it's coming up kind of slow. Come on, there it goes. Sickle cell anemia. And oops. Let's get back in there. Let's do it again. I'm using so much memory here, it's not letting me get in there. So I'm going to close something up here so I can have enough memory. Let's see if I can get in here. It's not going to give me that report. Okay. Well, you know, it's not going to give me that report on sickle cell anemia because I have too many windows open here because I'm running Uber Conference, I'm running Facebook, and I'm running YouTube all at the same time, and I don't have enough memory to do all of that. But we're still going to give you the answer. And thank you, folks over there on Facebook for joining us. And thank you over here on, let's get back there. So let's take a look at anemia, sickle cell anemia. When there's sickle cell anemia, we're going to go to the common condition reports on herbalhealthreview.com. These are all the reports that I have published. And there is anemia. So when there is anemia, and we can try sickle cell again and see if it'll come up. Let's go sickle cell one more time. Let's see if it'll come up. And let's get down here. Sickle cell anemia. The Centers for Disease Control, CDC, estimates that sickle cell diseases, SCD, sickle cell diseases, especially sickle cell anemia, affects around 100,000 Americans. Sickle cell anemia is a type of inherited sickle cell disease. It affects the red blood cells and the protein called hemoglobin. Because it's an inherited disorder. Sickle cell anemia is different than other types of anemia, as it runs in families and is passed down from parents to their offspring. African Americans are most likely to have sickle cell diseases. Some research shows that up to 10% of African Americans living in the United States have one copy of the gene that causes sickle cell disease. And according to the CDC, sickle cell disease occurs in about 1 out of every 365 Black American births, and 1 out of every 16,300 Hispanic American births. Of all the sickle cell diseases, sickle cell anemia tends to cause the most severe symptoms, limitations, and disability. As of now, there is no cure for sickle cell anemia. However, there are lots of treatment options for managing symptoms and reducing complications, including infections, fevers, and dysfunction, and others. Many people with sickle cell anemia or other types of sickle cell diseases develop nutrient deficiencies due to problems with absorption and digestion in general. So for sickle cell anemia, let's look at increasing your absorption, increasing your digestion. In general, according to a 2010 report published in the journal Nutrition and Metabolic Insights, it is becoming clearer that recommended dietary allowances, the RDAs, for the general population are insufficient for the sickle cell patient. In other words, you're not getting enough. You need more. You need a nutrient-dense diet. If there's sickle cell anemia, you need a lot more nutrients. A significant percentage of sickle cell anemia patients will deal with deficiencies in nutrients, including iron, zinc, copper, folic acid. So there's where that B12 and folic acid would come in. And B12 and folic acid helps to prevent anemia of all types. And so there's also a deficiency in pyridoxine and vitamin D and vitamin E. You know, a well-rounded nutrient-dense diet is important for preventing complications due to sickle cell anemia, such as growth and development abnormalities, decreased bone density, higher risk for fractures, vision problems, higher susceptibility to infections and others. So when we're talking about sickle cell anemia, well, let's explain it a little deeper. Sickle cell anemia and other sickle cell diseases are part of a group of hemoglobinopathies. Hemoglobinopathies develop when someone inherits at least one defective sickle S beta globulin gene from a parent, along with another type of abnormal hemoglobin gene that affects how red blood cells work. The most common types of sickle cell disease include sickle cell anemia, or HBSS, hemoglobin SC disease, or HBSC, and hemoglobin SB thalassemia, or HBSB thal, THAL. Those who have any types of sickle cell disease produce abnormal hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein in red blood cells. It normally carries oxygen throughout the body via the blood. The abnormal hemoglobin associated with SCD is referred to as hemoglobin S, like Sam, or sickle cell hemoglobin. And sickle cell diseases are characterized by deformed, abnormally shaped red blood cells with a crescent shape. This shape makes it difficult for them to travel through the blood vessels normally. And red blood cells are, normally red blood cells are flexible and disc-shaped, appearing round. They have a thicker edge and a shallow middle. The disc shape allows them to easily pass through small blood vessels. However, sickle cell shaped red blood cells are typically stiffer and more fragile, causing them to break or become lodged. This can then block blood flow while reducing oxygen supply throughout the body. And not every red blood cell will be sickle shaped when someone has SCD. But the more the disease progresses over time, the higher the number of cells that will become deformed. Sickle cell anemia will cause red blood cells to die in about 10 to 20 days, opposed to 120 days in people without the disease. So these cells are just dying off way too quick, 10 to 20 days instead of the normal 120 days for people without the disease. The causes the patient have to, this causes the patient to have a shortage of red blood cells, causing anemia and the lack of oxygen throughout their body. One of the things you can do to increase that oxygen is to take coenzyme Q10, 200 milligrams daily, and learn about hydrogen peroxide food grade, and go by the chart of dosage. There's a dosage chart, and that increases oxygen levels in the body. So those things could help. Now, the symptoms are fatigue and weakness, shortness of breath and chest pains, which can make it difficult to exercise or be active. There can be vision problems, and then you need to look at the eye report to help fight off the vision problems. Because we have so many reports that I've created over the last 60 years. And an eye report is one of those reports that would be valuable to know about when you're talking about sickle cell anemia. With sickle cell anemia, there could be symptoms of fever, joint and bone pains, especially in the long bones, such as those in the extremities. Sickle cell anemia can cause problems with bone marrow, especially in the hands and feet, and can cause bone pain. There could be abdominal pains, nausea, vomiting, and digestive upset. There could be swelling and fluid retention. Then you're going to want to know about herbs that pull the water off of the body so you don't have fluid retention, because there are herbs, both as an herbal tea and as a liquid tincture extract, that will take the water off of the body. And if there are symptoms of jaundice, it's common for people with SCD to have jaundice, which causes symptoms like yellowing of the skin. And that's where we would then be looking at herbs like herbs for the liver, like milk thistle seed extract, and doing a liver cleanse and detoxify the liver, the digestive tract. There could also be poor circulation to the skin that causes sores. And if we have poor circulation, we're going to look at herbs like a circulation increase formulation, a formula that increases circulation. And that would be a formulation of herbs that would be a formula number 1099, circulation formula. So there are things we can do to help with other herbs. So the common signs and symptoms of sickle cell anemia, that because the sickle cell anemia causes blocked blood flow in the blood vessels, and pain, and many other symptoms develop that can affect the whole body. Over time, this can contribute to complications, including dysfunction of the kidneys. Then you want to look at the kidney report. That kidney report is so complete. We've seen people come off of dialysis in anywhere from 30, 60, 90 days. Maybe even on some cases, it may take a bit longer. But we can work with the kidneys if it's affecting the kidneys, or if it's affecting the spleen or the brain or the bones or other organs. There are supportive things that we can do. Every person with sickle cell disease will have some degree of anemia. However, this can occur on a spectrum, with some cases being more severe than others. Some with sickle cell diseases have few symptoms and lead a productive life. Others develop severe symptoms and limitations. Sickle cell anemia symptoms, we already talked about those symptoms. And so, but we didn't talk about symptoms of jaundice. And again, milk thistle seed extract and a liver cleanse and detox would help when there's symptoms of jaundice. And if it's an enlarged spleen, well, then there are herbs for the spleen and the pancreas that could be helpful. And there's also a higher risk of infections and illnesses, including pneumococcal and pneumonia. And then you want to know, when there's pneumonia, you want to know about colloidal silver water and putting it in a nebulizer and breathing it and getting it into your lungs. Because breathing, nebulizing, and getting colloidal silver water into the air, and breathing it and getting into the lungs you'll see no more pneumonia within 72 hours. It will go away. Pneumonia will go away in 72 hours when you're breathing colloidal silver water from a nebulizer, getting it into the air. Now, there's also a risk of blood clots due to blocked blood vessels. And then you want to look at the clogged arteries report. You want to find out about herbs that are going to, and nutrients that are going to unclog the arteries and break those clogged arteries and clogged veins, break that down so that the nutrients can get through the blood vessels and the veins and the arteries. So you'd be looking at that clogged artery report, and you'd find out about herbs that unclog the arteries. Now, there's a higher risk for liver damage. And again, that's when you're going to milk thistle seed and you're cleansing and detoxifying the liver. And if there's kidney damage, then you're going to look at the kidney report and you're going to find out about marshmallow root and the liver and kidney herbs. And if there are gallstones, you're going to find out how to get rid of gallstones in the kidney bladder report. It's on herbalhealthreview.com, because I wrote all those reports. Sexual dysfunction, well, then you're going to go to the male and female herbs that are going to increase your libido. And in children, developmental problems may occur, such as shortening of the torso in proportion to the arms and legs. There's also a higher risk of stroke. And whenever anybody has a stroke, the first thing we reach for is CoQ10, 200 milligrams, once or twice a day. And so we need to look at the stroke report. And if there's seizures, we need to look at the seizure report so that we can help the body not to have seizures and help the body not to have strokes. Because it's called, you'll see symptoms like numbness in the limbs. That's when there's stroke and seizures. And there may be difficulty in speaking and loss of consciousness. There may be a risk for enlargement of the heart and heart murmurs. Then we're looking at the heart report. So sickle cell anemia may involve a number of other reports to give you some help. So sickle cell anemia is a genetic disorder. The inheritance of certain genes, rather than a lifestyle or a dietary factors, it's an inherited situation that causes it. In order for a child to acquire sickle cell anemia, he or she must inherit defective genes from both parents. This means that the SCDs, the autosomal recessive inheritance diseases, when a child inherits a defective gene from only one parent, he or she will carry the sickle cell disease trait, but not display full symptoms. Some of their red blood cells and hemoglobin will be normal. Others will be deformed. Most people who have sickle cell anemia trait, but not the disease, don't display any symptoms. They are typically able to live a normal, healthy life. However, they can pass on the defective gene to their own children. Therefore, they may choose to do genetic testing, and their with their partner before conceiving. Conventional treatment for sickle cell anemia, doctors can perform a type of blood test called electrophoresis to determine if someone has a sickle cell disease. This separates different types of hemoglobin to detect if some are abnormally shaped. Doctors may suspect sickle cell disease in people with a family history, especially if they are experiencing symptoms like fever, fatigue, stomach pains, bone pains, and nausea. Because sickle cell disease cannot typically be cured, the goal of treatment is usually to prevent sickle cell crisis and reduce symptoms of, well, you want to reduce the symptoms to improve the quality of life. If a sickle cell crisis or emergency occurs, patients usually need to stay in the hospital and be monitored while receiving fluids and medications. The most obvious symptom will be pain, including sudden, dull, stabbing, throbbing, or sharp pains in the abdomen and chest. The patient may need oxygen as well as a blood transfusion in some cases. Other treatments can include hydroxyurea medication. Hydroxyurea medication increases production of a form of hemoglobin that helps prevent red blood cells from becoming sickle shaped. Bone marrow transplant. Bone marrow or stem cells may be taken from a family member who doesn't have the disease and transplanted to the patient. This can be a risky procedure. It requires taking medications that suppress the immune system, preventing the body from fighting the transplanted cells. There's gene therapy, which is done by implanting genes in precursor cells that produce normal red blood cells. So the treatments, diets, and supplements to help manage anemia, supplements to reduce nutrition deficiency, reduce stress and get enough rest, prevent overexertion or dehydration. And there are essential oils to reduce pain naturally. So the main thing here is diet and supplements to help manage anemia. Eating a certain type of diet will not help cure sickle cell anemia or prevent it, but it can help to manage the symptoms and prevent further complications. Those with sickle cell anemia may have a harder time digesting protein and to get the amino acids. So you can take amino acids and that will help. And there are many different micronutrients, sometimes leading to malnutrition and weight loss and many other side effects as a result. So diet and supplementation will help manage anemia. We can talk about some tips to focus on in order to help to meet your nutritional needs. Be sure to eat enough calories in general. Sickle cell anemia can sometimes cause malabsorption and higher caloric needs to prevent weight loss. You want to eat a nutrient-dense diet like the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system that's on herbalhealthreview.com under common conditions, and it's on the side panel. That Make Lifestyle Changes diet system will be focusing on fruits and veggies. You want to try including colorful fruits and vegetables with every meal to get enough vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. Some of the best choices include all leafy green veggies, chard, carrots, mushrooms, asparagus, tomatoes, and bell peppers. You want to eat enough protein and get plenty of healthy fats. Good sources of healthy proteins include grass-fed beef, cage-free eggs, wild-caught fish like salmon or sardines. And if you're going to eat grass-fed beef, you'll find that the liver and organ meats are the highest in nutrition. And you'll find that lentils, and collagen protein. These foods are also high in iron. This helps to reduce anemia symptoms like fatigue or weakness. And healthy fats include coconut oil or coconut milk and olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, and grass-fed butter and ghee. You want to consume foods that are high in folate, which helps with the production of red blood cells. These include chickpeas, pinto beans, lentils, spinach, liver, and organ meats, avocados, beets, broccoli, and asparagus. And your doctor might also recommend taking a folate or folic acid supplement like that, B12 and folic acid, to help with this and prevent folate deficiency. However, a healthy diet is the best way to maintain folate, and the body can most easily use. You want to consume 100% whole ancient grains like quinoa and amaranth and legumes and beans if you tolerate them well, and animal sources of protein to get enough B vitamins. You want to drink enough water every day to prevent electrolyte imbalances and symptoms of dehydration. You want to aim for half your body weight in ounces of water daily. Half your body weight. In other words, if you weighed 200 pounds, half your body weight would be 100. You would want 100 ounces of water daily. If you weigh 100 pounds, you want 50 ounces of water, high quality fluids daily. And if you're sweating or exercising, drink more. Avoid eating processed and packaged foods and empty calories like sugary foods, refined grains, fast foods, and sweetened drinks. Avoid them. Supplements to reduce deficiencies. In addition to eating a healthy, varied diet, experts recommend taking several supplements that can treat deficiencies, protect bones, and provide other protective effects. Overall, more research is still needed to confirm which supplements might be most useful, but for now, we'll give you some of them. Vitamin D, in addition to producing some naturally by exposing your skin to direct sunlight. And the thing about getting vitamin D from sunlight is just before you burn, that's when you got enough vitamin D from the sun, just before you burn. So it takes a lot of exposure from the sun to get enough vitamin D. And the secret to vitamin D, and it's one of the most important things that anyone and everyone should find out about, is vitamin D3. You start with vitamin D3, you start with 50,000 IUs, 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 one time daily for 15 days. On the 16th day, drop down instead of 50,000. On the 16th day, you start taking 10,000 and stay with 10,000. Then about twice a year, you're just before flu season, at the beginning of spring, you would do that vitamin D again, 50,000 for 15 days. 16th day, drop back to 10,000. That is how to saturate your body with vitamin D3. And one study with vitamin D3 says that it slashes your risk of cancer by 77% just with vitamin D3 when you know the proper dose. And I just gave you the proper dose. It will slash the risk of cancer by 77%. You want to make sure you're getting calcium and folate, folic acid, and the omega-3 fatty acids, and plenty of vitamin B6 and B12, and multiple vitamins that include copper, zinc, and magnesium have also been found to be beneficial. You want to reduce stress when there is anemia, sickle cell anemia. You want to reduce stress and get enough rest. Depending on the person's symptoms, it's still possible to stay active and exercise even with sickle cell anemia. However, exercise might need to be gentle or moderate rather than vigorous. Balance your exercise with plenty of rest and sleep. It's best to get a doctor's opinion about how much exercise is best. In order to help the body recover from exercise and other sources of stress, whether physical or emotional, one needs to sleep at least 7 to 9 hours per night. Also, put aside some time during the day to unwind and relax. And other relaxing ways to help cope with stress can include prayer. Prayer is a great stress reliever. And meditation practice, yoga, breathing exercises, acupuncture, massage therapy, and aromatherapy. These are all stress reducers. You want to prevent overexertion or dehydration. One of the most important things someone with sickle cell anemia can do is prevent the amount of oxygen in their blood from dropping to very low levels by avoiding overexertion and very physically stressful situations. Try to avoid these. Sickle cell disease is rarely deadly, but in some cases, when someone becomes very fatigued or dehydrated due to strenuous activity, such as athletic training or military training, it's possible for symptoms to suddenly become severe and life-threatening. Sickle cell crisis is the term for severe reaction due to reduced oxygen supply. This can be caused by anything that is very physically demanding and stressful for the body to handle, such as very vigorous exercise, spending time at a very high altitude, such as mountain climbing or flying, or when recovering from illness. Essential oils to reduce pain naturally. Sickle cell anemia can cause pains including joint stiffness, muscle weakness, bone pain, and abdominal or chest pain. Using over-the-counter painkillers often is not recommended because they can negatively affect the kidney or the liver function. To manage pain naturally, try applying a warm, damp compress. These compresses, you want to put them to the painful areas for about 15 minutes at a time, up to 2 or 3 times daily. 15 minutes of heat and 15 minutes of ice will increase circulation and relieve pain. Taking warm baths or sitting in a hot tub, jacuzzi, and massage therapy. Stretching or seeing a physical therapist are also good ways to help keep physical symptoms from becoming overwhelming. Essential oils are also a great way to treat pain in addition to treating irritated skin, improving immunity, and promoting relaxation. Essential oils like peppermint essential oil can be applied over the skin to reduce sore muscles or joints. Other essential oils for helping symptoms include frankincense, which is also called boswellia. It will help to reduce inflammation. And when you combine boswellia or frankincense with turmeric, you have a very powerful anti-inflammatory combination. So you'll find a formula called inflammation from Better Health Herbs in Houston, Texas. And Better Health Herbs telephone number is 541-791-8400. That's 541-791-8400. And they can help you with a formulation called inflammation that has both the turmeric and the boswellia together. Now that is a super anti-inflammatory. And you can use lavender to help massage. And you can use lavender to help manage stress. And uplifting citrus oils like orange and grapefruit are also helpful to decrease fatigue. Precautions regarding sickle cell anemia. Precautions. Because people with sickle cell anemia have a higher risk of developing infections and illnesses, along with a harder time. They have a harder time overcoming them. And it's important to seek treatment right away if symptoms start appearing. To help prevent illnesses, take precaution by practicing good hygiene. Stay away from people who are sick and wash your hands regularly. Also try to avoid very stressful situations, extreme temperatures, too hot or too cold, or very vigorous exercise. Be cautious of that. Make it a priority to get some good sleep and drink enough water. For people with sickle cell diseases, getting the best care often comes from working with a team of specialists, like you'll find at betterhealthherbs.com, Health and Herbs in Houston, Texas, 541-791-8400. And please understand, I do not get anything from the sale of any product. I invented 14,000 natural remedies in over 60 years, but I get nothing from the sale of any of those products. And you can get them all from betterhealthherbs.com on their website, betterhealthherbs.com. That's Health and Herbs in Houston, Texas, 541-791-8400. You want to be cautious of developing a fever above 101. And you want to, if you're having difficulty breathing or pains in the chest and abdomen, if you have severe headaches, vision changes, and trouble concentrating, if there are seizures or painful erections that last more than 4 hours, these are the things you want to be cautious about. And a couple of final thoughts on sickle cell anemia, and we're out of here. Sickle cell anemia is the most common and severe type of sickle cell disease, SCD. It causes abnormal hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein found in red blood cells. It normally carries oxygen throughout the body. Symptoms of sickle cell anemia include fatigue, fevers, shortness of breath, weakened immune system, growth and development problems, malnutrition, weight loss, and a lot of other things. While the disease can't be completely cured, treatments to help manage symptoms of sickle cell anemia include medications, a healthy diet, supplements, light exercise, stretching, essential oils, and getting plenty of rest. And that's it for sickle cell anemia. And I'm looking over here in the room at Uber Conference. If anyone there in the room, and all you have to do if you want to go into that room is call 503-606-6064. 503-606-6064. And if anyone in that room has a question, a topic, or a suggestion, please press your star key 2 times on your telephone. It'll open up your microphone. That means you would like me to talk about a certain thing. And I see someone has over there in Louisiana. What is your question, topic, or suggestion, please?
Hello, Dr. Truman.
Yes.
This is Elizabeth in New Orleans.
Yes. Hi, Elizabeth.
How are you?
I am blessed, and I know you're blessed too.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask a question, just two questions, and this, briefly. I didn't want to take up too much time just in case others have questions. And so the first one was for diabetics who have foot pain or numbness in maybe not the whole toe, but maybe one toe had numbness in it. And what are some of the things that they could do? And the other question is briefly is like a smoker who's kicked a habit, but what can they do to get on the road to recovery since they've been smoking so long, And so I was gonna just ask those questions just briefly, just to see what,
Okay, we can do that. We can talk about diabetics who have foot pain,
Okay.
Which is called neuropathy. And we can talk about smokers. We can even give you a remedy for those who want to quit smoking, but it's just so hard. They just got to have that one more cigarette, one more.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about that. Okay. All right. Thank you for those.
Okay.
Thank you for those suggestions. And again, we're not diagnosing, we're not prescribing. We're simply talking about the historical, traditional, and scientific uses of natural remedies and the latest information. Well, let's take the let's go over to that anemia report, and we're under common conditions on the website herbalhealthreview.com, and you can become a member, and then you can access all of these reports that I continually update and polish and put new information there. You can become a member, and then you can get a username and a password, and you can see any of these reports, any of these videos. But let's go down now on herbalhealthreview.com under common conditions, and let's take a look at diabetes. That was a question last week. Someone wanted us to talk about diabetes, but we ran out of time, which there's just not enough time sometimes. And now I'm clicking on diabetes on the herbalhealthreview.com website under common condition. I've gone down A, B, C, D till I got to diabetes. And now I'm talking about diabetes. And diabetes, well, it's a pancreatic disorder. That's a major cause of illness and disability and death. Its two main symptoms are loss of weight and excessive urine production. The disease is also characterized by extreme hunger and thirst. Diabetes is a disorder of carbohydrate metabolism. Their carbohydrate metabolism. They're not able to handle their sugar. That's the sugars that are, and it occurs in the body. It either secretes, the body secretes too little insulin or is incapable of using the insulin that it does secrete. There are two main types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, which is also called insulin dependent or juvenile onset diabetes. And the other is the pancreas produces little insulin, possibly because of a virus of the patient's own immune system. It attacks the insulin producing cells. And this type usually strikes in childhood and appears suddenly and is more serious of the two kinds. In type 2 diabetes, also known as non-insulin dependent of maturity onset diabetes, the pancreas may produce normal amounts of insulin, but for some reason, the body can't use it to metabolize the carbohydrates. It can't use it to use those sugars. The two types have in common the fact that much of the sugar in the body cannot get into the cells and so accumulates in the blood and is excreted in the urine. One eventual result of uncontrolled diabetes, especially type 1, may be a disturbance of fat metabolism. This abnormality can lead to sudden coma and death, and over a long period of time may be responsible for the complications of diabetes, premature atherosclerosis, strokes, kidney disease, eye damage, loss of nerve function, like in the toes, which is called neuropathy. And here are some of the herbs that help control diabetes. Gymnema sylvestri. Gymnema sylvestri is an Indian word from India. And that word, Gymnema sylvestri, in Hindi, the name translates as sugar destroyer. So Gymnema sylvestri is a sugar destroyer. The plant is said to reduce the ability to detect sweetness. You won't be able to taste the sweetness. And it's regarded as one of the most powerful herbs for blood sugar control. It may work by boosting the activity of enzymes that help the cells use the sugar or glucose. Or it may work by stimulating the production of insulin. They're not just sure exactly how it works. But Gymnema sylvestri, that's one herb. Bitter melon, also known as mormoridica, is to help cells use glucose sugar more effectively and block sugar absorption in the intestine. So bitter melon, mormoridica. Then the fact that most people with diabetes are calcium and magnesium deficient. A magnesium deficiency is not uncommon in people with diabetes, and it can worsen high blood sugar and insulin resistance. So you got to make sure you're getting calcium and magnesium when there's diabetes. And prickly pear cactus is another nutrient. The fruit of the prickly pear cactus helps lower blood sugar because it contains components that work similarly to insulin. The fruit is also high in fiber. Then there's chromium, a very inexpensive mineral chromium. This trace mineral helps to enhance the action of insulin, as well as being involved in carbohydrate and fat and protein metabolism. An inexpensive way to lose weight also is to take one chromium. You can either get it as a liquid or as a capsule. You could take it 1 to 3 times a day, daily, and you lose weight. And it'll also enhance the action of the insulin. And it will help with the carbohydrate and fat and protein metabolism. That inexpensive mineral can do that. You want a good multiple vitamin, liquid or capsule. So here's what over the years we created. I went into the laboratory and I created a formula called glucose balance. And you can use it as capsules and as a liquid. And if there's diabetes, use them both until the diabetes is under control. Glucose balance capsules has a combination of herbs that will help to regulate and balance the glucose sugar level in the blood. And it helps with both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It helps control cravings for sugar. And it contains bilberry leaf, Mormoridica, Gymnema sylvestre, alpha lipoic acid. The alpha lipoic acid is the one thing that's helping with the diabetic toes and neuropathy. Alpha lipoic acid helps to control neuropathy so you don't lose those toes or your foot. Vanadyl sulfate, bean pods, bilberry fruit, as well as the bilberry leaf, and blueberry leaf, and hyssop leaf, pleurisy root, paprika, and uva ursi. Those are the components of glucose balance capsules and glucose balance liquid. And you would start with 2 capsules twice daily. And after 3 days, you would increase to 3. In 3 days, you would increase to 4 capsules twice daily of the capsules. And as a reminder, you want to discuss the supplements and medication that you're taking with your healthcare providers. So taking the glucose balance capsules, the glucose balance liquid, and then you want to be protecting your eyes and nerves, and the bilberry fruit and bilberry leaf, which these are relatives of the blueberry. It contain powerful antioxidants. And this bilberry leaf and fruit extract, the leaves as well as the fruit, they're loaded with antioxidants called anthocyanidins. These anthocyanidins seem to help prevent damage to the tiny blood vessel that can result in nerve pain and retinopathy damage to the eye's retina. So that's why if you want to, if it's affecting your eyes, you definitely want to get into that bilberry and blueberry leaf and fruit. And a little water here. And we talked about alpha lipoic acid, called ALA. for short. This vitamin-like substance neutralizes many of the types of free radicals. A buildup of free radicals caused in part by high blood sugar can lead to nerve damage. And then they want to cut off toes, and they want to cut off feet, and cut the legs off and so forth in people because they don't know about alpha lipoic acid. That ALA, alpha lipoic acid, can also help with muscle cells to take up the blood sugar. Fenugreek seeds used in Indian cooking have been found to lower blood sugar, increase insulin sensitivity, and reduce high cholesterol, according to several animal and human studies. Also, fenugreek is high in fiber. The seeds also contain an amino acid that appears to boost the release of insulin. Ginseng is known for its immune boosting and disease fighting benefits. And you can get Chinese ginseng and American ginseng. And these ginsengs have several positive diabetes studies behind it. Researchers have found that ginseng slows the carbohydrate sugar absorption, and it increases cells' ability to use glucose and increases insulin secretion from the pancreas. Ginseng. We created in the laboratory a diabetes tea extract, a formula that's a combination of herbs that helps regulate and balance the glucose sugar level in the blood, and it helps both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It also helps control cravings for sugar, the diabetes tea extract. Some people use all of these things all at the same time, and some people just use what they need, and they keep adding more and more until the diabetes is gone. We have many, many people who have used these types of herbs who do not have diabetes anymore. I mean, it's gone. It can disappear in 30 days. And if it's affecting the kidneys, you got to work with the kidneys. You got to work with the diet. And then you're taking as many of these nutrients as needed to break the cycle. Because there's a diabetes insulin support formula. There's a diabetes support formula. There are several different types of formulations here, including a diabetes herbal tea and a diabetes herbal tea extract. Then there is a gland rejuvenator that rejuvenates all of the glands at the same time, which has about 56 different herbs in it. It's a really huge formulation. When I invented that formulation, I took 8 separate formulations for each of the glands in the body, 8 separate formulations, and I combined them all together. And it took a lot of balancing, and it came out perfectly. It helps people lose weight. The gland rejuvenator rejuvenates the glands, and the glands go back to work again. It helps the pancreas to go back to work again. It helps with weight loss, the gland rejuvenator. So, and then it goes on to talk about the fact that the manufacturer, which I get nothing from the sale of any of these products now, but the manufacturer created a diabetes kit. So you can get a beginning kit or a diabetes plus kit, which is a larger beginning kit. And then I'm looking at a testimony from Elder Rakah, Asharallah. Elder Rakah gave his testimony in 2016, 5 years ago, regarding the use of these diabetes system. And there's a video talking about it. And here's a testimonial from someone who had diabetes. And he says, it goes on in this testimonial from someone who had diabetes and don't have diabetes anymore. And he says, my name is Josh. And he says, 6 months ago, my girlfriend told me that that I could help to reverse diabetes. Well, I don't do it. God does it. I just suggest certain nutrients that can be helpful. God does the healing. Anyway, Josh says he was skeptical at first, being that he's been a diabetic for over 10 years. But his girlfriend kept pushing and insisting that he contact me, and you know, and she kept telling him that it wouldn't hurt to give me a call. So he called, and he talked to me, and he explained his situation to me, and I listened to his situation and suggested that he may try the glucose balance capsules and the chromium and the diabetes herbal tea and the diabetes tea extract. So, I told him to continue taking his medications, and that he would gradually start to see his sugar go down, and that he should be off of the medications in about, anyway, up to 4 months maximum, usually 1 month, but some tough cases might take up to 3 to 4 months. Anyway, to make a long story short, he says, he beat it. He said, I beat it with your help. I'm no longer a diabetic. I went to see my medical doctor on 4/18/2016. When he asked me why I'm here, I informed him that the endocrinology doctor wanted him to take his blood test before I see him on 4/21. So he was talking to his medical doctor on 4/18 about his endocrinology doctor, because he had an appointment on 4/21, 3 days later. But anyway, his medical doctor informed him that he was no longer a diabetic. He says, for a few months, you haven't been a diabetic. And that he no longer needed to see his endocrinology doctor. And everybody, family, co-workers, doctors, assistants, neighbors, and just friends, they he knows from, they were all happy for him, except one person. The one person who wasn't happy was the endocrinology doctor. And when he called him up to cancel and let him know that he wouldn't be coming back, being that he's no longer a diabetic, what he says here, says, I have never received a call from him so fast, within 5 minutes of my cancellation call, to tell me that I was misinformed, that there's no such thing as a reversing diabetes, and that I need to continue taking my medications, and I need to keep coming to see him. But like he said in the beginning, my medical doctor said, I no longer have diabetes, and I don't need to take insulin or pills anymore, and to keep up the good work. So it's been about 5 months that I've been diabetes free, when he writes this testimonial. So I like so he said, like I said before, I want to thank you very much for your help. Also, I like to thank my girlfriend, Dorian Taylor, for pointing me in the right direction. P.S. I'm now working on high blood pressure. I was talking to your granddaughter, and she suggested that I take a blood pressure plus drops. So once again, thank you for your help. But by the way, when there's high blood pressure, when there's high blood pressure, when you work on the high blood pressure, but you also want to work on the kidneys, then the high blood pressure will disappear. Work on the kidneys and work on the high blood pressure and work on your diet with that Make Lifestyle Changes report. So that, but there's, so anyway, it goes on to talk about the glucose balance liquid and the diabetes tea extract and the Truman's diabetes tea and the alpha lipoic acid and the chromium and all of these, and the magnesium. That's all listed in this report. And in order to see all of these reports, all you have to do is become a member. And to become a member, and then fill out a member intake form so that I can look at that and I can send you back my suggestions. Again, I don't prescribe or diagnose, but I can tell you what what you might be interested in looking at, the various reports and the various products that you might take a look at. So that's it for diabetes. Let's talk about smoking. First of all, if you're smoking and you don't want to smoke anymore, then you want to look at a formula that I created called Craving Stop. But they said you can't call it, the government said you can't call it Craving Stop. See, they don't want you to know what these names, if the name actually suggests what a product is good for, the government does not allow that. But there is a formula called Craving Stop number 1123 that whenever you want to reach for a cigarette, you reach for this little bottle of Craving Stop and you give a squirt in your mouth, and over a period of time, you can no longer tolerate and no longer want cigarettes. That's how to get rid of the addiction, is the Craving Stop, and get on the Make Lifestyle Changes diet so that you got plenty of energy. So that's it. So that's how you quit smoking. And you use that Craving Stop formula. Craving Stop number 1123. That's it. That gives you the information about how to stop smoking, quit smoking. And we're looking at the room here. I'm looking at all the folks over there on Facebook. I want to thank you all for joining us on Facebook and on YouTube. And we've come near to the top of the hour here. Let's see if we can look for another open mic. There's one in Louisiana, Gonzalez. Do you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion there in Louisiana?
Yes, hi.
Hi there.
My suggestion is, our topic is about fasting for weight loss and healing.
For weight loss and for healing?
Healing of, like, the different various issues, health issues.
Okay, so that's where you'd get on that Make Lifestyle Changes diet system that's listed on the website, herbalhealthreview.com. That's going to boost you up and make you strong. And then if there's weight loss, well, then we're going to go over here to the common condition reports, and we're going to look at all of the wonderful things that we can do when there's weight loss. We're going all the way down to W, and we're going to look at weight loss. I get a lot of people wanting to know how to trim up. Chromium is the least expensive mineral that will cause weight loss and help with diabetes as well. So chromium, the mineral chromium, is going to be the least expensive thing you can find that will cause weight loss. And I'm clicking on, clicking on weight loss. Let's get to weight loss here. Come on, weight loss. Open up weight loss. It's slowly opening. When there's weight loss, The number one thing for weight loss is called forkscolin. Forkscolin contains no stimulants. Forkscolin contains 10% pure forkscolin. The active ingredient in the health and herbs product, forkscolin, which has been found to burn belly fat from within your body, boosting weight loss by more than 33.77% in studies. The studies have shown that the daily use of forkscolin intake can increase lean muscle and increases bone density and causes weight loss. Forkscolin. Then there's the herbal chromium that you can take by mouth, just a little squirt in your mouth, that will burn fat. The chromium is an essential element and has numerous actions on the body. It works with insulin to metabolize sugar. And without chromium, the blood sugar is not absorbed by the body's cells. And hyperglycemia may result. Extreme hyperglycemia is diabetes. Chromium helps to bring protein where it is needed. It aids growth and may help it to lessen atherosclerosis and prevent diabetes. Both exercise and high sugar intake increase the loss of chromium through the urine. Also, chromium is decreased with age. The body retains less chromium. Deficiency symptoms include high blood sugar, impaired glucose tolerance, increased insulin levels, glycosuria, impaired growth, decreased fertility, and lower sperm count when you don't have enough chromium, aortic plaques, increased cholesterol levels, decreased longevity. You're not going to live as long. Optimal chromium assimilation has these results: decreased cholesterol, decreased blood sugar, growth of muscles, less body fat, and increased energy. Chromium is a highly biologically active form of chromium, which has tested extensively. It's considered to be very safe and has effects on the body similar to insulin. So chromium. And there's a tea. There's a tea that was inspired by Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz had a combination of herbs that he referred to as the right combination for weight loss. And that combination was Poria tea, green rooibos tea, chickweed leaf, Garcinia cambogia, and bilberry, and a pau de arco, and oolong tea, and white peony tea, and fenugreek seed, and senna leaf, and uva ursi, and dandelion leaf, and stevia. These are the ingredients of a Diet Master tea that will cause weight loss. Forkscolin, Diet Master tea, herbal chromium, those are your top ones. And then you can do a cleanse and detox with that number 1078 colon and liver cleansing liquid that cleans up the blood and the liver and the digestive tract and so forth, and do a two-week cleanse. You can add a fiber called number 4837 with bentonite clay that absorbs all the bad things you're trying to get rid of, so you don't even have a headache, no cleansing crisis. But these are things, and then that gland rejuvenator, number 1196, that will cause weight loss. Raspberry ketones, number 2522, will cause weight loss. So those are the things that you want to find out about. A branched chain amino acids will cause weight loss, and there you are for weight loss. And we've come to the top of the hour, and we need to get over to Prophet Elijah and get a closing prayer And there he is, Prophet Elijah. Prophet Elijah, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Very good. Well, we talked about a lot of things here today. We got a lot of information out there, and I'm sure it's going to be helping people. So,
Yes, matter of fact, when I was talking today about thoughts, what you did was actually follow up on what I talked about. People have to listen to you. It causes them to want to have the desire to change their old thinking pattern.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what we need to do. We need to take a look at these things that are actually working, nourishing, building you up, making you stronger, and where you can lose weight. So, and you can fight off things like diabetes and sickle cell anemia. Those are the things that, and improve your testosterone levels. These are all things that are possible. So I'm glad we had a chance to talk about them. And Prophet Elijah, could you please give us a closing prayer? And then we're going to open up the microphones and over there in Uber conference so that we can all praise the Most High together. Can you do that for me,
Yes,
sir?
Oh, yes, sir. Jesus was deeply moved with compassion toward them. So he touched their eyes, and instantly they could see. Jesus said to them, "Your faith has healed you." And all the people praised the Most High God because of this miracle, according to Matthew 20 and 31. There is an important principle of prayer and faith found in the miracles of Christ. It is the progressive nature of the answer to prayer. Not at once does the Most High God always give the full answer to prayer, but rather progressively, an important truth too often overlooked. Jesus went to Bethesda. A blind man was brought to him, and he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, he was restored and saw clearly. It is alone that he has to take us at times aside from the world, where he can have us all to himself. That speaks to and deal with our hearts in the silence, the quiet time, in the still small voice, in the secret place. This work is done when no one is watching. Christ then commanded the man to go and wash in the dirty pool of Siloam. The failure to go and wash would have been fatal to the cure. Father, we know that submissive faith is giving ourselves up to you is where we receive the perfect work. Then there was blind Bartimaeus. It was an urgency of faith that he had crying out for his healing. Each one of us can experience the same divine power, the same blessed results. With faith and belief comes the answer to prayer. Father, I pray for all who are in need of that sight being cured from cataracts, glaucoma, floater, macular degenerative diseases, even where sin of disobedience causes sickness and disease. Father, allow the spiritual scale to be removed that keep us from seeing that you are the omnipotent great physician. I decree that our steps are guided so that we do not seek counsel from unholy people. Assist us to seek spiritual counsel who guide us into the right decisions concerning our health. Reawaken us to see things of the spirit. Empower our spiritual discernment. Remove the evil veils causing darkness in our lives. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known unto the Most High God. Dr. Berst, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and love and favor rather than silver and gold. I see you as a man diligent in his business. I decree that you shall stand before King. You are my prayer answering Father. I believe you will answer me as I bring my friend before you. Father, I ask that you prove yourself great in his life, making the little efforts he put into his work to yield abundant results. May he struggle less and enjoy fruitfulness to his amazement. Father, I acknowledge that you are the one who teaches Bishop Truman's hand to make wealth, but that I implore you to step into my friend's case and possess his mind with innovative ideas, witty inventions, and multifaceted grace and favor that change this and change his world. All the glory and honor shall be returned to you with much honor. Selah. So be it. Now, were you blessed by Discoveries in Health Ministry? If so, tell someone you know who may be blessed also. Let's Dr. Berst in return and pray about sowing into this ministry. Dr. Berst may be able to keep offering this information freely to many. Be ever so kind to let Dr. Berst know that his time is not used in vain. Show him your appreciation for all that he does, whether it is word or thanks to the a workman is worthy of his hire, which is 2 hours of his time each week. Bless him, and you shall be blessed in return. So be it.
So be it. Let's go to the microphones here and open up all the mics that we can all praise the Most High together. I'm on my way and unmuting all those mics. All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. All praises to the Most High.
Glory, glory, glory. All praises. Wonderful prayer, wonderful lesson.
All praises to the Most High.